Thank you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. We're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life. Want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. In this episode, we get to speak with John Molyneux, the sales samurai. He's been a sales leader since 2014. He's proficient in both door-to-door sales and telephone sales. He was in the military for a while, became a martial arts master and a sales territory leader in Cornwall, England. Now, how it all started is a great journey that we get to hear from John himself. So let's dive in and speak with John Molyneux. Anyways, John, so nice to meet you, my man.
Yeah, you too.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, because this is the first time we were having a conversation. We had a little bit of conversation on a Zoom video call, which was weird. I mean, it was very short. So tell me a little about yourself. I know that you're in the military, you face a ton of challenges, even, experienced homelessness. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How'd you got into all of this? Where does the journey of John Molly Molly Molyneux
Molyneux. Molyneux, yeah.
Molyneux? Where does the journey of John Molyneux start?
Yeah, well, you pretty much nailed it there. I did spend a couple of years in the military when I was in my mid-20s, just because it wasn't something that I was really wanting to do. I just did it because nothing else was sort of happening. I was in and out of work and
Hmm.
didn't really have any direction and stuff. So I give it a try. I did a couple of years as well. But I just found that the regiment I was in, I didn't really enjoy it, and it wasn't really going anywhere as a career.
Yeah.
So I came out, but I did find myself a little bit lost. And like a lot of ex-military, I don't know if you have the problems in America, but we have a lot of. Well, I think you do actually with homeless veterans.
Hmm.
It's a big problem.
Yes.
And yeah, I kind of faced it myself, not really badly, but I mean, I was sofa surfing for a while and flitting from place to place. So yeah, it wasn't like I wasn't cardboard box tackle on the streets, but
Hmm.
it was pretty bad. But yeah, so that was sort of like the worst part when I came out. But eventually, I sort of kind of fell into the industries like the security, which a lot of ex-military do,
Hmm.
security work and driving jobs. But I never really sort of like found my passion until I was actually teaching karate. I started teaching karate because I was sort of hunting for a bit of discipline after the
Hmm.
army, and I
Hmm.
found it in martial arts. So I was doing karate, but I was teaching it as well. And part of the training, I was getting the karate training for free, but part of the job was to go door to door canvassing, knocking on people's doors to sign them up for the karate classes. So that's where I did my introduction to sales as well. So now
Hmm.
uh, I'm doing sales and martial arts. So my martial arts is my hobby, and sales is my passion.
That's pretty awesome. So and you were basically going out and doing sales around something that you were passionate about, doing something that you did as a hobby, because and you only do a hobby because you're passionate about it. So that kind of going to people door to door and talking about how it's changed your life, the martial arts, and how it gives you control and your mind, it just jived, right? That would happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, uh, you were quite correct. That's what helped me drive with the door to door. I mean, the door to door is quite tough, especially when you start out. But because I was so passionate about the martial arts, that
Mhm.
really helped me. And then the more I did the door to door, and the more I did the sales, helped me grow the sort of love for sales as well. So yeah, it's like the yin yang effect, really.
Yeah. So you're getting that feedback immediately, like, oh, and how many rejections do you say you got when you did the door to door? Because that
Oh,
plays a big role too.
yeah, I mean, many. I mean, probably out of every 10 people I spoke to, you might get one appointment, and you might not sell that anyway. So
Hmm.
the numbers were pretty against you. But
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I got from the army was sort of perseverance and dedication, and
Hmm.
that was one of the qualities that helped me get through that. I think because I just didn't take the rejection as a. I think with sales, if you're going to have any sort of success in it, you can't take a no or a rejection as personally. It's not a personal attack. It's just literally just them getting their point across to you. So I think a lot of people will sort of dip the toe in sales and then give up too quickly because they hit a bit of rejection. Or but you can't think that.
Absolutely. That's so true. You cannot let a little bit of rejection, uh, you know, stop you from pursuing what you're really passionate about. And as you mentioned, the military actually trained you to be persevering. And anybody who's been in the military knows this, that you've got these boot camps, you've got these trainings every day. You have to, like, there's no bowing out of it. There's no escaping it. It is what you do to train your mind. So then anytime there's a time to go, it's automatic. And it plays in your body automatically. Basically, it's like muscle memory, right?
Absolutely. Exactly the same with the martial arts. I mean, if you do any traditional martial arts, you learn patterns. So you repeat the same process over and over again, and you do the same movements over and over again. So after a while, it's muscle memory, and your body just remembers how to do it.
Yeah, and then combine that muscle memory with your mind, with your brain. It's just beautiful to just watch martial arts. I took a little bit of martial arts way back in the days. Did some Jeet Kune Do, and then when I moved to the U.S., I was like, all right, I'm gonna go find Jeet Kune Do and continue training. But unfortunately, I didn't find anything that was close enough, and I just got busy with going to school and whatnot. And it's all about the discipline. It's all about continuing to do what you love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love any martial art. I've tried lots of different ones. I've done like Filipino style with the sticks and stuff. And even though I'm at home now, I've got nunchucks and stuff. So I'll just do that in the back garden. We're not supposed to go anywhere, so I just do it in my garden.
Yeah.
I do a lot of qigong as well. So that's like a bit like Tai Chi, Chinese sort of slow stuff as well. So
Mhm.
I do all that as well.
Wow, that's really cool. What are your thoughts on the movie, um, The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise?
The Last Samurai. Oh yeah, I love that. I love any martial arts film. If I'm honest,
Yeah.
it's funny you should say that. I think the thing that got me into it when I was
Mhm.
young, I was very young, about 7 or 8 at the time. I used to watch a lot of the Jean Claude Van Damme films, so
Oh
like
my god.
Bloodsport and kickboxer and stuff like that. That's what
Yeah.
sort of sparked my interest in it. I think.
No, that's true. I remember Bloodsport, and I remember John Claude Van Damme's movies, as well as Jackie Chan. He's still
Yeah,
kicking it. And then Bruce Lee stuff was just always so on point, so sharp.
absolutely.
Just amazing. I mean, I think our generation grew from in that era where there's a lot of martial art movies, and I think there's a lot less of that. We see martial arts as a form of combat, but not as a main movie.
No, it's very true. I mean, you nowadays you do have a lot of films with a lot of fight scenes in, don't you? And they're
Hmm.
all choreographed by professional martial artists and stuff. But
Yes.
the kind of martial arts based films are kind of a bit of an old school thing, now, aren't they?
Nice. Yeah, that's true. So tell me, so you've got a show going on called Success Breeds Success, and you've got is that a book, The Samurai Clothes?
No, no, it's deceiving. That I actually have a set of samurai clauses. It's a PDF, but that's just a
Okay.
design that's been made for me. It just looks a little bit like a book cover, but
Okay.
it's 6 killer samurai clauses, so it's just a PDF.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about, tell us a little bit more about sales, and, you got into sales, selling door to door, the martial art services and subscription and what have you, or training at the club. So how did sales help you grow out of, what you were feeling at that time? And, where is it taking you? And
Yeah, I think it just gave me the sort of drive and the beauty of sales is when sales is done right, it's a win-win situation. So the the person that you're dealing with, or your client or your prospects, they end up happy because of they've got involved in whatever your product is, and you're happy as well because you've made a sale. So you've got a little bit of money in your pocket, and everybody wins. So that's the sort of good feeling I get from that. And as long as I think if you are looking to be a salesperson, no matter what it is, make sure that you find the right product and you believe in the products. Those are very important,
Mhm.
because if you don't 100% believe in the product, or even better, own it yourself,
Yeah.
then you aren't going to be very successful.
You make some really good points because earlier in my life when I started working, I think one of the first jobs that I had was to do cold calls. And I was cold calling and I was working for this company, and all I'm doing is I'm going through a list of numbers that they have, and I'm calling these people, and I'm like, "Hey, would you like a subscription, or would you like a copy of the the sales the sales magazine, whatever, catalog? Would you like a catalog, mailed to you so you can buy stuff from us?" So
Mhm.
that was my job. That was my job. And it was interesting. I was like, okay, I'm calling people, I'm talking to people. It was and then my next job, so I did that for a little bit, and then I was like, all right, this is fun, but I don't know. And then my next thing that I was doing, I was helping out my uncle, and I would set up these stalls at mosques on Fridays.
Right.
And so it would be a book stall with, it has Islamic books, and so I'm selling these things to people who are they just finished, their prayers, and they're like, "Oh, let's see what Islamic books can we get for our kids, what videos are available, etc."
Yeah.
So, that was my little experience with sales. And then later on, I got hired at this company, and they were selling used laptops. Now, I'm a tech, I love tech, and but I was doing these cold calls, and I wasn't very, I didn't meet my quota for like the first month. It's like, okay, you can do it. This is your first month. Second month, I didn't meet it. Third month, like, all right, it's not working out with you. So I didn't get that feedback because I'm talking to somebody over a phone, trying to convince them that they need a computer. So I didn't have that kind of experience with sales that I would love. But since then, I've been using Apple products for the past 15 years, and I've convinced many people to switch over to the iPhone or the Mac or whatever.
Hmm.
And I feel, the point that you made, you have to be really passionate about what you're selling. You have to believe in the product that you're trying to sell.
Yep, 100%. If you don't believe in your product, and more importantly yourself, then you are going to be fighting a losing battle. You may have some success with sales, but
Hmm.
you're not going to have a massive success, or lots of success.
Yeah, that's a great. And so I think those earlier experiences have what's that word, scarred me to look at sales as it's something that's not achievable for me. So I think I sabotage myself in
Mm.
how is this going to happen, how is this going to happen. Like right now I'm trying to launch my web development company, and even though I have a full-time job, right, it's taken secondary importance now because I have a full day of you know things to get done, to meet deadlines and whatnot. So everything's taken a backseat. So
Mm.
how does somebody like myself get out of that mindset to be like, okay, what I'm selling or what my product is, it's going to change people's lives. It's going to help them do better uh, with what they have on their side. Because because of this experience that I've had for past 20 years, because I've been user experience designer, been a web designer for the past 20 years, and that's what I do as a main job. But anytime it comes to me offering these services to individuals, I have that mindset that nobody wants to buy this from me. Why would they buy it from me? I'm sure there's other people that are more experienced. So how does somebody that have a mindset like that get out of that mindset or change it?
Wow, that's quite a good question, Junaid. Well, I think you have to look at your own situation and just change your attitude and your outlook on sales altogether.
Mhm.
Everybody is in the world of sales, whether they like it or not.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
problem with sales is it's got this sort of bad name to it, or this it's like a dirty word, isn't it?
Mhm.
Nobody wants to be associated with sales because it's sleazy and this and that and the other. It's
Mhm.
not at all, because if you go for a job interview, you're selling yourself, aren't you?
Yep. Mhm.
Or whatever, you're always promoting yourself, or you're always trying to sell something. Even if you say you're a tradesman and you do roofing, you put roofs on. You've got to deal with customers and you've got to sell them roofs, haven't you? You might
Yeah.
put that roof on, but you sell them the roof, don't you?
Mhm.
You don't put it in for free. So whatever you're doing, no matter what business you're in, you're a salesperson. So once you get the right attitude towards sales, and like you just mentioned about your products, if it's something you've created yourself, then you should be able to find it easier because it's your product. If you're doing it for somebody else, if you've used it yourself and you've seen the benefits from it yourself, you
Yeah.
should be able to sell it well. It's if you're trying to sell a product that you know nothing about and you don't have any sort of connection with and you don't really like it,
Mhm.
that's where you're going to have problems.
That's very true. Hmm. So I've got to change my mindset. I've got to look it from another perspective, how it's going to help others, right? So
Absolutely.
maybe, yeah,
If you can help by helping others, you're going to be helping yourself, aren't you? It's
yeah,
like Zig Ziglar said: if you want something, get other people what they want.
mm, yeah. Get other people what they want, so then,
If you want something, by giving,
yeah,
you're going to get what you want by giving other people what they want.
yeah. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's true. You've got to have that mindset to be able to break free of that. Sorry, my mind is blanking.
It's all right. Yeah, it's just a self-limiting belief, isn't it?
Yes, the
That's all
self-limiting
it is.
belief. Yes, you're blocking yourself. You're your own worst critic.
Absolutely.
Fantastic,
And
man.
what I like to do as well is don't take things too seriously.
Mhm,
It's easy when you're talking about business and whatever to sort of get in this sort of sensible and you know what I mean, prim and proper and speak right and blah blah blah. But you can just have a bit of fun with people. You kind of break the ice especially in a sales situation if you just
mhm.
add a bit of humor and have a laugh with people rather than be too uptight and serious.
Yeah, no, that's true. And the one thing that I've learned over time to be able to sell yourself, because for the past 8 months, even though I was unemployed, I was selling myself and I was selling myself short, probably. Or maybe I
Yeah.
didn't have the right skill set that they were looking for.
Uh-huh.
But as soon as I opened up and I opened up my mind and said, what have I got to lose? Either I'm going to get this job or I'm not going to get this job. So what I did is, like, I opened up and I said, I told him, yeah, I studied blockchain, I've studied these other technologies, and somehow that triggered, something in the interviewer, like, oh, this guy's going above and beyond technology, not just doing what he's supposed to be doing, but he's looking at future stuff, and that got me the job. They're like, and I went and asked him, I was like, I'm sure you interviewed a lot of people, but why'd you pick me? And he was like, you know what? When I heard you talk about blockchain and what it's going to do for the world and how you just wanted to get into it, even though it doesn't connect directly with what your expertise is, that showed me that you have the passion to go out and get the technology or learn about technology that's out there to be able to, grow yourself. You need somebody who has self growth potential. So that was one of the reasons that got me that job.
Yeah, because he could see your enthusiasm, because you were passionate about what you were talking about. You showed passion about blockchain and knowledge, and you were sort of excited about it and
Yeah.
enthusiastic. That sort of wore off on him, and he saw that.
So we got to do the same thing for our own products, for our own services that we're trying to offer.
Absolutely. Whatever it is, whatever you're trying to sell, whether that's like a product or a service, as long as you can show that you're enthusiastic about it, you've got a good knowledge about it,
Yeah.
and you've used it yourself, or do you know what I mean? You can, it's going to benefit them.
Yeah. So let's do a little exercise if you don't mind,
Yeah.
and we can use your six killer sales samurai closes. Um,
Okay.
so my service that I'm looking to provide is web development
Right.
or web. Somebody who can have a website or somebody who wants to launch a podcast. How can they automate you know content coming to their website from their podcast? So how would I sell this service, or how would I talk about this to somebody? Because that's something that I'm lacking or I'm not pushing enough.
Okay. What? So you mean if you were speaking in person with them?
Hmm.
Right, and well, like I said, this is something I don't really know much about, because this is your
Sure,
sort of
sure, sure.
speciality,
But
isn't it?
hmm.
But just just speak to them on a level, and find out, dig a little bit about what they've been doing so far.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So you've got to find the need.
Yeah.
So if they haven't got your system in place, and whatever they're doing is lacking what your service can provide, that's where you got to meet them on that ground. Once you get into that territory, then you can say, well, if you get on board with me and you use this service, then you'll get X and X.
So I've got to have those items figured out. Okay, this is, well, I already haven't figured out. So I gotta shape it in a way like, okay, what is your issue? Or what problems are you facing?
Yeah, you need to find out the needs, or
The
wants,
needs
and
or wants.
so
Hmm.
but the way you lead into that is by just talking to them first. You warm to them. You call it rapport building. So you just, how's it going? How long have you been in business for? Have you
Hmm.
tried? How's the podcast going? How long has that been up and running? So just normal chit chat,
Yeah.
and then dig deep into the issues that they may be having because they've not got your product, and
Hmm.
then give them the solution with your product.
That's a good point. And I think that's the other thing. And like you mentioned earlier in the green room, you've been on sales calls all day long, and business has been, it's been the same. Coronavirus or not, you're still have clients coming in buying the products.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, on the whole, it's affecting everybody, isn't it? It may
Oh yes,
affect
it is.
it may affect buying decisions and everything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing with business and entrepreneurs and salespeople, you need to just sort of rise above it, and just dust yourself off and get on with it, because
Yeah.
you will still find people prepared to buy, and you will still find people that are thinking similar to you. And if they're thinking similar to you and they're a prospect, they're going to buy. So you can't think that everybody's just thinking, "Oh no, we're knackered and we can't move forward at the moment. We need to just put everything on hold because of the virus."
Yeah.
Life goes on, and business people still do business, and that's what I intend to do.
Nice. That no, you're absolutely right. You've got to put that face. Got to sell them the person so they can then buy the product. Or you basically be yourself, right? Essentially, you're
Yeah,
being yourself. You're finding common interest, common ground, and I think that's why I like having these conversations, because we're talking about a common ground. We're talking on the common ground. We're talking about a common hobby, or the sales thing. It's kind of common between you and I because we've done sales in one way or another. You've had more success than I have, but it's still something that we have to deal with on a daily basis. It's something that's part of life.
of course it is. Yeah, and what you need to do is differentiate between benefits and features as well. Don't try and sell people on the features. sell them on the benefits. So with your website, you could say the features is, or it's got X amount. Do you know what I mean? You can do this with it, or you can do that with it. But the benefit is, well, it saves you half the time that than your old system would, or do
Hmm.
you know what I mean? It's much easier to use than your old system was.
Got it. So work on the features and not sorry, work on the benefits and the
Yeah,
features
not the
will
features.
plug right
Let them
in.
know, make them aware of the features,
Yeah,
but let them know about the benefits. The benefits that sell, not the features.
right, right. No, you're absolutely right. And what's interesting is how close to user experience design this is because so that's my main spiel. I do user experience design and I'm I'm creating a solution, creating a product or for the client and to be able to get to creating that product we talk to the client daily or on a weekly basis trying to understand what the problem they're trying to solve and then create that solution around that problem that they have.
Yeah,
So it's very similar. I mean, marketing, sales, user experience design, you've got to find that common ground, that common empathy between the person you're talking to and bring that together.
of course, because what you find is, especially with a specific niche like you have, your sort of people's frustrations. People are all the same when it comes to it, aren't they? We all have the same issues. We all have to face the same problems. So what you find
Mm,
is the same issues will come up over and over again. So that's where you once you've spoke to X amount of people, you'll see the same problems coming up, and then you'll be able to deal with them a lot easier.
mm. Really cool, man. Thank you so much. That's really eye opening and I mean, it's something that's in the back of my mind, but I'm not actively doing it, right? So it's like, okay, when you hear it again and again, it's like saying you
Yeah,
gotta keep doing that action, you gotta keep doing that move, so then your muscles get that memory. So it's something that I'm working on as well.
yeah. Just Jeet couldn't do it, or whatever it was it Jeet Kune? Just
Yeah,
keep
Jeet
doing
Kune
the
Do, yeah.
same punches over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. So that's some awesome stuff. Some what so so John here has provided us with a really cool deal, 6 killer sales samurai closes. The link will be in the description. You can go and get this free PDF that he's provided for our listeners. So go check out the link in the description. So John, at this point of the podcast, we would like to ask some common questions that I ask my guests. Something around the hobbies, something around the hacks that we do in our life to make our lives better and more, enriched.
Yeah.
So, what is one hobby that you wish you got into?
What you mean? One hobby that I haven't actually done, or as
Yeah,
of yet, or I
you haven't
don't
had. Yeah.
well, to be honest, I should be doing it really. In It's surfing, because
Hmm.
I actually live in Cornwall and there's so many beaches with really good surf. And
Yeah.
I have attempted it once. I had a session at it and I was actually okay, but
Hmm.
it's something that I really do need to take up a bit more, I think.
Nice surfing. Yeah, that sounds really cool because I remember. So I grew up in Southern California, 20 minutes
Yeah,
to the beach, right? But I never really learned how to swim or learn how to surf. But my cousin, he learned how to surf, and he's like, yeah, I can, get on the board and do the surf. So that's really cool. Awesome. What
yeah,
did
definitely. Sorry.
what did yeah, no worries. What did you want to be when you were a child?
I actually wanted, because I still do I really like drawing. I do quite a bit of drawing, and
Mm,
when I was young, I was actually quite good, but I was
yeah.
never any good at maths. I always wanted to be a architect, but
Hmm.
I didn't have the maths or the science side of things, unfortunately. And I don't think, if I'm being honest, my drawing wasn't good enough because it has to be perfect, really,
Has
doesn't
to
it?
be
But
perfect. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, if you apply the same rule, martial arts and drawing, right? Um, think you could have gotten there. But hey, that's awesome. My brother, he he's got an artistic eye, so he's done some drawings. And I'm like, what? You drew this? That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to, draw also, but I just never was pushed into in that direction to do it. Um, but that's awesome drawing. All right, what did you? Sorry, I also already asked that question. What is your favorite movie or TV show?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I quite like a lot of the box sets you get on Netflix, like
Hmm.
um, Game of Thrones was quite good. I like
Yeah.
quite a lot of those, like Peaky Blinders and whatever.
Mm,
Those different types. But film, I used to. Oh, there's so many good ones. I do like the sort of old school gangster ones, like Scarface and Goodfellas and
mm.
stuff like
Goodfellas, that was a good one. That was a really
that.
good movie. um, all right, this question is a tricky one. Well, not
Right.
tricky, but I think you like it. What movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
Oh, I actually quite like Marvel and
Hmm.
DC and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go for two, either Wolverine or Batman. I think.
Nice. Those are two very, what's that word? Lo- I don't want to call them damaged, but they have they have that mental,
Yeah,
right? They're
yeah,
like their life has been like pulled apart in so many ways,
yeah,
and one guy doesn't remember where he came from, right, with
yeah,
Wolverine, and then the other guy remembers really well what he came from
yeah.
and what he's take revenge. And I was just talking to my cousin the other day about not Wolverine, but Batman, and how many different ways that story has been told. And there's so many versions of Batman. The movie has been done over and over and over again. And then there's a Christopher Nolan's Batman with Christian Bale, and now the recent one with um, with Ben Affleck. And I was like, he gets better and better over time. But what I'm really sad about is that there's no more Ben Affleck Batman. There's going to be a new character playing Batman, or new actor playing Batman for 2021. They're rebooting the series yet again. It's kind of sad, but I guess they missed the mark on the last few movies that they worked on.
I think it's one of them kind of things that you could just keep on making. It's a bit like Spider Man, isn't it? They made quite a few of those, and you could probably just keep making them, really, couldn't you?
Well, you could, but what I'm talking about really is, if you look at the character, like who the actor who plays the character, that has changed for Batman. So there was, the first Batman with Michael Keaton. Then we had the second Batman with Val Kilmer. Then we had George Clooney. And so, you have different actor playing Batman. And it's every all of those movies were great, but with Marvel, with Iron Man, it's been Robert Downey Jr. for the 24 films. We know that it's Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Are they going to reboot that character? Probably, but they're not going to reboot it in the way that Disney, like Walt or DC has done it. They're gonna grow it, or they're gonna, come from the perspective. Okay, this is the original Iron Man. It's always Robert Downey Jr. Whoever's the next Iron Man is gonna be either, it's Rescue with, his wife Pepper Potts playing Iron Man, or it's probably gonna be his daughter. Just it's a totally different perspective. That's what I mean. And the reason they've done Spider-Man so many different times is because they've had a different set of directors. And I think my favorite Spider-Man is still the one with Tobey Maguire. The
Yeah,
first
that was a good one.
That was a really good one. And now Tom Holland is doing an amazing job. I mean, it's a totally different perspective, but then he's part of a whole bigger family. So I think this is gonna go. I mean, he's basically taking over, throne, or what they've been calling the movie. who's going to be the next Iron Man? Well, it's Spider-Man kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's a different way of telling stories. So yeah, man, that's awesome. All right, next question. Who is your favorite superhero?
Right. That's quite a tricky one. I've always quite liked Hulk. I think Hulk's
Oh
pretty
man,
good.
Hulk
I'm
is
gonna go
good.
Hulk.
Nice. Hulk has a whole different story. I mean, I can go on about these movies forever.
It is tricky though, because
Yeah.
there's so many good heroes out there. That was quite a tricky choice because I've got quite a few that I like, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna go Hulk because I do like him. He's good.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Last question. If you were a board game, what would it be?
A board game. I'd say I'd have to be Monopoly. Really, it's got to be Monopoly.
Nice. That's a very popular game. Absolutely. I still haven't figured out what board game I would be. Because I was asked that question on the last episode, and I was like, I don't know. I've
I
thought
was
about the question myself.
I was kind of torn between Cluedo. I thought Cluedo first, but then I swayed towards Monopoly.
Nice. So Cluedo, is that what's Cluedo?
Have you not played Cluedo?
I
That's
might
not.
have
It's not.
I might have played it, but it's might be
It's the
called
one
a,
where you've got the different rooms on the board, and
oh,
you
okay.
have like
You have to figure out the clue.
the like Colonel Mustard, and do you know what I mean? And you got to guess whether who was the murderer. So you had Colonel
Got it.
Mustard in the library with the piece of pipe or something.
Got it. It's a murder mystery game.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. That's it.
Nice. Fantastic. All right. So John Molyneux, it was
Yeah.
really nice talking with you, my man. Where can my audience find you?
It's been an absolute pleasure being on the show as well, Junaid. Yeah, you can find me either a Facebook group called International Entrepreneurs and Coaching Community.
Mhm.
It's relatively small group, about 350, 330, 340 people. But it's a really good little community. We've got a lot of people that do some good posts and
Mhm.
content and stuff like that.
Nice.
I'm also on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Mhm.
I also have a website, and that's called callstars.com. So that's call, CALLSTARZ.com.
Perfect. I will be sure to include these URLs on the show notes. And this was an awesome call, my man. Thank you so much, John. Um, Next time we chat, tell me a little bit more about the Success Breeds Success podcast show, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, of course. That's absolutely available. You can find my show on Spotify and Apple and everything. So yeah, check it out, guys.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, John. Have a good
My
one.
pleasure. Thanks a lot. See you next.
Thank you for listening to Hacks and Hobbies. You can find additional information on the guest today on the website hacksandhobbies.com. Please feel free to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on upcoming interviews with amazing guests.